There we
Hey,
go.
we
Can you
got
hear
you.
me?
Hey, I hear stuff.
All
I thought
right.
I thought it would be I thought it'd be tech savvy and use my iPad, but apparently that's not working. So
Well, Will, we appreciate your perseverance and sticking with us here, bud.
you didn't. I'm very thankful you guys stuck through just staring at me trying to figure that out for
Oh,
the
it's
last.
so funny too. Like honestly, man, we run this live show every Sunday where we have a
Yeah.
bunch of panelists on, and this Sunday was our first one of the year. And buddy, it was the same thing, and we had like four different content creators and panelists on, and we're just like trying to figure it out in the moment,
Yeah.
and we're live on YouTube, and it was just like, man, the anxiety. I was like, I just want out. Like, let's just cancel the whole thing.
Day and age with COVID and everything like that, everybody would have it figured out. But as you can
Yeah.
see, it's progress.
Well,
Not
you
quite.
give us a couple years and we just forget it all, eh?
Exactly.
Well, thanks again. It's good to see you again, buddy. Do you have a hard out here, Will? We normally go about 30 to 45 minutes, but we don't want
Yeah.
to
No.
keep you
No.
longer.
I don't have to be at the field until 12:30, so got all the time.
Love it. All right. Well, Adam and I'm
Yes.
Scott. Good to see you again.
Yes. Thank.
We'll count in here and we'll just get to it.
Yeah. Of course.
Awesome.
All right. 3, 2, 1, and we're rolling.
We are so pleased to have returning to the show outfielder for the Toronto Blue Jays organization, currently playing with the AAA Buffalo Bison, Will Robertson. Welcome back to the Walk-Off, man. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Honestly, dude, since the last time we talked, I mean, we talked spring of 2021. Crazy stuff was going down.
Yeah.
You just had your call up to Vancouver from rookie ball in the Florida State League. 3 years
Yeah.
later, and here you are. You just played your first big league spring training. You're a middle of the order bat with the AAA Buffalo Bison. Man, hard work and perseverance paying off. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a long road, definitely since 2021, the spring. That spring, starting a little later, not getting going the same time as usual was crazy. And now here we are in 2024. I feel like it took a long time to get here, but we're finally here. So good.
No,
It's a good.
yeah, absolutely. It would be a good feeling. How was spring training this year? Was it a little different playing with the big league squad than the experience you've had in your previous seasons?
Yeah, it's a little different. I mean, just from the locker room and just seeing who you see every day, that's a little different than which the Blue Jays do a good job. That everybody's kind of in the same area with minor leaguers and big leaguers, kind of getting to intertwine and get to see everybody like that. But this year definitely was a difference with having a locker and in the big league room with all Vladdy and Bo and all those guys. It was kind of shell shocking at first, but then you realize they're just ball players too. So it kind of mellows out the more you're in there. But still a pretty good feeling, and getting to watch those guys play and do their work was pretty cool.
How are those guys to be around? Do they have time for everybody? Does it depend on where you are in the system? Like I'm guessing that if you go up to anyone, they're gonna give you a few seconds to give some advice or whatever it is you're after.
No, they're great guys. I mean, I think being an outfielder, you obviously tend to gravitate more to Varsh, George and KK a little more just because that's who you're with. But I think all those guys are awesome. Even the starting pitching staff, got a ton of big league years under their belts, especially with JT coming on middle of spring training there. It was pretty cool. So no, I think they're all a wealth of knowledge, and they're great guys to be around.
When you have a big league outfield that I think it's if not for sure, arguably the best defensive outfield in Major League Baseball, is there anything that you take from watching guys that are just that proficient at running down balls?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it comes down to their just pure athleticism and how well they get to balls. And I think sometimes you can, just sit back and stand in awe, and you're like, wow, how do they run that down? Stuff like that. But there's little things that they do that definitely, just watching Barger, for instance, making his debut, got his first hit last night, which was pretty cool. Just, us sitting back and watching and taking little tidbits to kind of bring to our game is cool too. But definitely sometimes in BP and watching them, in the dugout during games, you see them, take off on balls. And you're like, how do they get to that? And it's still pretty cool. But KK is a freak of nature. So is Varsho. But you try your best to kind of incorporate some of that, but some of it is just pure God-given ability. So you kind of have to tip your cap to that.
So I know you're a Nebraska boy. How do you deal with the Florida humidity? Are you all right with it, or were you pretty happy to head up to Buffalo?
So, I'm from Missouri, went to college at Creighton in Nebraska, but Missouri, I feel like, is about the same, just, I guess, different time of the year with the humidity. Missouri gets humid in July and August. So I personally love the heat. I would rather play in 100 degrees than in 35 degrees like we've been playing in Buffalo, which
yeah, Buffalo gets pretty cold in April, eh?
we kind of running joke in the locker room. We're like, we don't know if this winter is ever gonna stop, because we go on the road and we're down in Indy right now and it's 75 degrees and sunny. It's gorgeous, and then we'll go back to Buffalo and it'll be 45 and raining. So hopefully the winter can stop here pretty soon. But for me, I love playing in the heat. So Florida was perfect for me.
You know what? For the first time, so my wife and I actually were down in Dunedin for about a week over spring training and got to see a couple games at TD Ballpark, and a beautiful ballpark. And I was actually really surprised with Dunedin. I was like, this is actually a pretty cool little town. It had some really nice little breweries and some live music going. And at least during spring training, the nightlife seemed like it was happening. Do you boys get out in Dunedin? I know you stay in Clearwater. If you're going to go have a beer or supper or something like that, do you just stick around Clearwater, or do you go to Tampa? What do you do?
So my wife and I, my wife started traveling with me last year. So we actually stayed in downtown Dunedin, which is a little hard because of all the breweries and all the restaurants down there. You can, after the spring training or after days done, you can slip away to a brewery or go get something to eat, and you kind of got to watch yourself, because you catch yourself having a beer on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. You're like, okay, I need. But the food down there is awesome, and I think it's a hidden gem. Dunedin's just like not very many people know about it. It's awesome. So we lived down there during spring training in downtown Dunedin last year, and then we stayed in Safety Harbor this year. But just a super cool area. Yeah.
I felt the exact same way, Will. I was like, this is definitely a hidden gem. This is not what I was expecting for
you get kind
a
of
little town. Yeah.
Of like you get spring training, then you get also spring breakers coming down from the colleges and stuff like that. But Dunedin almost feels like it's like resilient to all that. You don't get a lot of the crazy tourists or anything like that. It's a pretty mild crowd, so we love it for that.
Yeah, no, it was even cool watching all that. You could tell, like, obviously there's snowbirds there and retirees and stuff, but like all the like 55 to 60-year-olds with their golf carts that were all done up, driving all over downtown. I was loving it.
You got to keep your head on a swivel when you're driving, because not all the time they got their lights on. And there's been times that I've been, either backing out or, trying to make a right or a left. And, kind of my wife, gives the passenger princess squeal that, about knocked over a golf cart. But yeah, you definitely have to have your head on a swivel.
My wife is a horrible passenger. She freaks out a lot. Is your wife pretty chill about that, or is she a backseat driver?
Yeah, moments. I feel like she still thinks that she can drive a lot better than I can. I wouldn't put myself up there with the top 10% of drivers, but I feel like she's definitely probably the same way. She'll have her moments when she's a little more uptight and gives you what she's actually thinking instead of trying to hold it in. So.
Okay.
My wife is perfect. The only thing she does is when it's raining and I got the wipers going, I often don't have them going at a frequency fast enough for her, because I hate a dry wipe, and that squeak on the windshield is the worst. So I always let it go too long in the rain, and she'll reach over and she'll start like swatting at my wipers.
The gears in there, that's that's a different story right there.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So
Okay, so let's talk the Buffalo Bisons a little bit, because you boys are off to a hell of a start there in AAA, 16-10 early in the season. And I would even say that you guys seem very comfortable together. I mean, a lot of you have played together before. Would you say that the clubhouse this year gelled pretty quick in Buffalo?
Yeah, I think from even just like a coaching staff, like a player perspective, like we've all been around all the coaching staff. The players have kind of came up together, pitching staff and position player wise. So we know each other really well. We know what each of us can bring to the table. So it's a pretty easy transition. I know a lot of the guys were up there last year. I was in New Hampshire, obviously, and they've made it really easy. So a great group of guys. We love hanging around each other in the locker room, and it makes it pretty easy.
You've really moved up the depth charts since the last time we chatted, which is, I mean, awesome, man. Congratulations on that. Your offense has really kind of come together. Your power stroke is coming together. Looking back on the last couple of years, where would you say you have made your biggest strides? And did you do anything over those last few years, like a change in the batter's box, a adjustment to your swing? And when you do step into the box in 2024 here, what are you looking to do?
Yeah, no, I remember the last time we talked, 2021, kind of going to the first full season, and the unfortunately a week into the season got injured, and was out I think 8 to 9 weeks. So I think that alone, just being out that long, and then just trying to get the wheels going back again, it's always hard.
Especially piggybacking that off of the COVID season, right?
You miss time already, so you're trying to, I wouldn't say catch up, but you're just trying to get your feet under you a little bit and try to get some traction. Then you get hurt, and then you try to finish out the season, and then you go into an off season, and then going in 2022, you're like, okay, this is the year I'm gonna this is where we're gonna keep going, and get hurt again midway through that year, feeling like I was making some good headway early on in the year, and then getting injured again. So I think in 2023 last year, I think it was nice just to have a full year just to kind of learn and kind of develop a little bit and get comfortable with everything. And then I think for me in 2023, midway through the year, had a talk with our mental performance coach, and just kind of trying to stay external, which I know a lot of people in the game, I think they can kind of internalize and kind of make it, I guess, more trying to take stuff that's from the batting cage onto the field. I think it can kind of get into the way of production. So I think for me, it was just leaving everything in the cage and then kind of getting to the field and just competing. And for me, that was a simple change, but it kind of made a world of difference, just trying to keep everything external and worrying about what I can do between the white lines and not so much mechanical. So I think that was a huge change for me, and it helped me, and it's allowed me to free up a little bit and kind of be the player that I know I can be, and hopefully I can continue to be.
I mean, you've had some big moments over the last year, that's for sure. I mean, I know it was spring training, but that was a pretty darn cool moment when you hit the grand slam. Have you hit a grand salami before in your pro career?
I actually did it last year in Harrisburg in Double-A, hit one. But I think those two are the only ones I've hit. So I mean, if it's a regular occurrence, I'll take it.
Yeah, right. The pile them on. Give me all the grand slams.
Yeah. Give me those. Yeah, give me the RBIs for sure.
So they put a bunch of work into Salem Field in 2021, trying to make it as close to a big league stadium as they could. Obviously, going from New Hampshire to Buffalo, is there a pretty major difference in the stadiums? What is the atmosphere like in New Hampshire compared to Buffalo?
Buffalo Salem is obviously a little bigger stadium. They've got more seats and everything. But I mean, I think they put a lot of work in New Hampshire. At a Delta Dental last year, with the facilities, with the clubhouse, the weight room, and the batting cage and stuff like that. So they've done a lot of work there too. But I think definitely you can tell that at Salem it's a little more big league-esque because of obviously in 2020 they the big league team had to play there for a couple games. So you can definitely feel like you're a little closer to the big leagues. But I wouldn't say it's a huge difference, but it's definitely a little bigger, a little sweeter, has a little more amenities, but it's pretty sweet.
Do you have a favorite affiliate you played with? Not even just the team.
Yeah.
I more of the city or the stadium itself. Was there one that you preferred?
I mean, I think if you would ask anybody in the Blue Jays organization, that, and especially any of them that have played here, but Vancouver, I think, is by far the in my opinion, I think it's pretty cool just because of how they pack Nat Bailey every home game. Crowds are awesome, and then the city was phenomenal. Just with having, you know, the beach right there, the weather was perfect. I don't think it rained there in 2019. I was there for the short season or whatever. I don't think it rained a day. It was always 75, 80 degrees and sunny. So it's hard to beat that. But no,
Yeah.
Buffalo and New Hampshire have been good. But I think Vancouver's a pretty sick spot.
That's funny. I have heard that from other guys too. Just Nat Bailey and the fact that you
Yeah,
can play a game on a Tuesday night and they pack it out in Vancouver.
they're so
That's rare for
it's
that, right? Like when you were playing
yeah,
around the A circuit, like
yeah.
most stadiums aren't packing 7,000-8,000 people in there, I'm guessing.
No, especially with I mean, Buffalo weather, New Hampshire weather earlier in the year, you're not getting as many fans. But Nat Bailey didn't matter if it was, which like I said, the weather was usually perfect. But yeah, no, Tuesday night, if a Wednesday day game or Thursday day game, it was packed. It was the crowd was involved. It was really cool. So I don't think there was ever a letdown, no matter who you're playing or what it was.
So, Will, I know you mentioned Addison Barger getting his first hit last night. Obviously, the guys in Buffalo are rooting him on, and I know that. I mean, you've been in the system since 2019. You've played with a lot of these guys at some point or another, and have gone through some, tough times with some of these guys too. I mean, I'm sure 2020 was not an easy circumstance to overcome. I know you didn't play with Ernie Clement, but when you see guys like Davis Schneider and
Yeah.
Addison Barger making their MLB debuts and contributing to the team like they have, does that do anything for you personally? Like, do you take anything from that, watching a teammate
Yeah.
succeed in that way?
Yeah, I mean, Spencer Horwitz is on the team with us right now, which I hope
Mm-hmm.
in the coming weeks he's not. I hope he gets called up, chance to go back up there and perform. But I think last year, with Davis and with Spencer getting called up, knowing those two pretty well, being pretty close to those two, getting to watch them, I think it sparks. I wouldn't say, I mean, because I think everybody in the minor leagues has that hunger and has that drive to get to the big leagues. But I think it reignites a little bit of that fire, a little bit, knowing that it's not as far as what you think it is. I remember when David got called up, we were in Binghamton, New York, and I had an off day, and so we had the game on in the clubhouse. So I was trying to run back and forth to try to watch it, and we run in there. I think it was in the middle of the inning. We're all in there, and home run, and we were all freaking out. And I remember that for the rest of my life. That was just an awesome experience, just to somehow stick in there, watch the at bat, and it ending up the way it did. Obviously, everybody knows how it ended up, but it's pretty cool. But no, I think Ernie, getting to play with him, getting to be around him this spring training was awesome. He's a great guy, and I think the more that you're around those guys, the more you realize that you aren't that far away. So it's a good reassurance for guys that are down here, and hopefully get to play with them pretty soon.
And you know what, man? There are numerous guys in Buffalo that, we could say are on the bubble of getting that call up, yourself included. You're a lefty outfielder. If someone winds up with bad tacos, we never like to use the I word here unless they're already on the IL. We're very superstitious on the walk-off. So if someone does get bad tacos, especially in the outfield, you're a guy that's going to be considered for a call-up. How do you compartmentalize that and still stay focused? And if you do have a trick to that, can you spread it and let us little people know how you do it?
I mean, I think if you guys got a trick, let me know too. But I think for us, it's you're always watching, like the Jays are always on TV, you're always on the clubhouse, you're always watching them. So yeah, I think it's easy to kind of go there and be like, wow, that'd be so be able to be up in that. Do we lose you here?
No, I got you back.
No, we got
you. Yeah.
Got back here. Let me see. Is it on? Or
No, we got you. We got you.
We got you.
see if I can